Class 12th, Subject Physics, 7th chapter, Wave Optics. From this chapter, let us see Fraunhofer diffraction due to a single slit. As it is Fraunhofer diffraction, the source of light will be far away from the system producing the diffraction pattern. And therefore, let us consider a parallel beam of light is normally incident on this slit AB, whose width AB is equal to D. So the width of the slit is equal to AB. Now let O be the center of this slit AB. O is the center of this slit AB. Then a convex lens is placed in front of this slit AB, which converges all these rays of light coming parallel to its axis, and it will focus them to point P0 on the screen. Now this screen is placed at a distance equal to focal length of this converging lens. Let capital D be the distance between the slit and the screen on which diffraction pattern is observed. Now let us consider that the slit is divided into large number of extremely small slit elements, and then let us consider only those rays of light which are parallel to the axis of the lens. As soon as this plane wavefront is incident on the slit AB, each and every slit element of this slit will act as secondary source of light, and hence it will emit cylindrical wavelets in the forward direction. When these rays are incident on this converging lens, this converging lens will focus all these rays to point P0 on the screen, and therefore it will be observed that as these waves are emitted from the slit AB at the same time and they are reaching at point P0 at the same time, therefore between the extreme rays there will be no net path difference, or the path difference between the extreme rays will be equal to 0. And therefore when such rays of light which are having net path difference equal to 0, or there is no phase difference and they are meeting at point P0, therefore these rays of light, these extreme rays of light will interfere constructively at point P0, giving rise to the maximum intensity of that point P0, and therefore this P0 will be the central maxima of this diffraction pattern. Now let us consider the angular separation between the rays at each and every point equal to theta. That is, let us consider the rays of light emitted from points A, O as well as B such that it makes an angle theta with the initial or original direction of the rays of light. That is, theta will be the angle made by these rays with the axis of this lens, and that theta will be nothing but the angular separation. And therefore if you consider now such rays of light, all the rays of light which are emitted from point A as well as B will not reach simultaneously to point P on the screen. The distances covered by these secondary waves emitted from A, O as well as B to reach point C will not be same, and therefore let us draw a perpendicular AC on this ray of light. So AC is the perpendicular drawn here. Therefore this angular separation is equal to theta. Therefore this angle ABC will be equal to 90 minus theta. Already angle C is 90 degree. Therefore angle BAC, this angle will be theta. Now from this triangle ABC, as this angle is theta, this is the opposite side to this angle theta, that is BC. The length of AB equal to D. that is the hypotenuse, and therefore this BC distance will be equal to d sine theta. Now, as AC is the perpendicular drawn on this ray of light inclined with angle theta, therefore the path difference between the waves emitted from point A and point B will be equal to BC. Similarly, the path difference between the rays emitted from point A and the central point O will be equal to OK, that will be equal to the path difference. Now suppose the path difference between the rays of light emitted from point A and from point B is equal to lambda, that is d sine theta equal to one wavelength equal to, that is lambda. Then the path difference between the waves emitted from point A and O will be equal to half of that wavelength, that is lambda by 2. So this OK will be equal to lambda by 2. BC is equal to lambda, and therefore when such rays of light emitted from A and O are now reaching to this point P on the screen, at that time there will be a path difference of lambda by 2 between these extreme rays. And when such rays of light having path difference of lambda by 2 are reaching at point P, therefore at point P there will be destructive interference, and that point P will be having its intensity minimum. Therefore, similarly we can say that all the points between A and O, that is AO as well as BO, will give rise to destructive interference at point P on the screen, and hence point P will be acting as minimum. So in this way, when the slit is divided into large number of slit elements, then alternately on the screen there will be constructive interference as well as destructive interference, and hence alternately we will get the maxima and minimas. The diffraction pattern produced due to this Fraunhofer diffraction is as shown. This will represent the central maxima having its highest intensity. On either side of the central maxima there will be first secondary minima having minimum intensity. Similarly, beyond this there will be again first secondary maxima having less intensity as compared with this central maxima, and therefore if you consider the diffraction pattern, it will contain the central maxima and it will be followed on either of its side by the first, second, third and so on, the secondary minimas and secondary maximas. So from this it is clear that at the location of the nth minima, that is dark point, the path difference between the extreme rays is given as d sine theta equal to plus minus n lambda. Similarly, for the maxima to be in between the minimas, so in between the minimas there will be maxima. So for that maxima, that is bright point, the path difference between the extreme rays, is given as d sine theta equal to plus minus n plus half lambda. So these are the conditions for the minimas and maximas in case of diffraction pattern, that is this will be regarding Fraunhofer diffraction due to a single slit. Now let us go for the next point, that is related with this diffraction is fringe width W, similar to that of interference. In case of diffraction also there will be fringe width. It will be defined as the distance between two successive bright points, that is maximas, or the distance between two successive dark points, that is minimas, is called as the fringe width. And now for the nth dark point, that is minima. For nth dark point minima, we have theta nd, that is the angular separation theta nd equal to ynd upon d, that will be equal to n lambda upon d, and the distance of nth dark band or dark point, that is ynd equal to n lambda d upon d equal to nw. Similarly, for nth bright point, that is for maxima, we have angular separation theta nb will be equal to ynb upon d, that is equal to n plus half lambda by d, and the distance of this bright point ynb will be equal to n plus half lambda d upon d equal to n plus half w, where w is lambda d upon d, that is the fringe width. It is similar to that of the bandwidth or fringe width in case of interference. Now in this relation, ynb and ynd are the distances of bright point and the dark point from the central bright band, that is the central maxima, on either side of that central maxima for nth bright as well as nth dark points, that is for nth maxima and nth minima, ynb and ynd distances are taken.